throughout all of the madness that's been going on. And he would frequently call me from jail, and we would talk about this kind of stuff. So I wanted to share that with you tonight, because I figure with the whole entire Tiger King thing going on Netflix right now being so big, I know a lot more people are kind of getting into his story. So I think this would be a fascinating time to talk to him. Now, I have to apologize in advance, because my initial thoughts with this were that we were going to be able to get him on video, and through some very weird, undescribable reason, the app that we use to communicate decided to flag my account, and so we can't video chat, but we will phone chat. He'll call up on the phone in just a little while, and we will talk to him. And so I'm going to encourage you guys, throw your questions out there now. If you're watching live on the show right now, please feel free to throw your questions out for Joe, and I will try to get them out to him, because we're going to go machine gun fashion. I think because he's on the phone, he has a very limited amount of time, not very long, unfortunately. So we got to try to get in there what we can. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back. I'll come back. Oh, I think here's a boy now. I'll come back and do something a little more, so wait, hold on.
This is Prodigy Solutions with a prepaid call from
Joseph Penn,
an inmate at the Grady County Jail. This call is also subject to being recorded or monitored except for privileged communications between attorney and client. Three-way or call waiting is not allowed and may automatically disconnect this call. Please select from the following options. To accept this call, dial 1 now. To reject this, your call has been accepted. This call is subject to being recorded or monitored except for privileged calls between attorney and client.
How you doing?
Hey, brother, how are you, man?
I'm here, hanging in there.
I'm sure you are. I know that it's a crazy situation right now, probably getting a little bit crazier by the day. But I just wanted to tell you that the show is obviously catching a lot of people's attention. And I just wanted to ask you a couple quick things and see what you wanted to say with regards to the show. I know obviously you haven't been able to watch it and won't be able to for a while. But I think the portrayal that they depicted of you especially definitely shows people what it is, just the crazy batshit world that you were dealing with, and all the people in it. And so I think people kind of have a better perspective of what's going on. Does that give you any kind of vindication or make you feel any better that people are kind of now understanding what it is that you've been through?
You know, I've stood here at this computer for 4 hours today doing nothing but answering emails from Bulgaria, Belgium, Scotland, Ireland, everywhere around the world. I never dreamed this many people would be this interested in this story. And I don't think Netflix did either. The producers that made this, I haven't been able to see it. I know what I filmed before this all happened, so I know that part what's in there. But all I can say, Danny, is don't throw stones when you live in a glass house. And a dear friend of ours in Tampa, Florida, is feeling the repercussions of the way she has lived the last 20 years of her life, thinking she can bully people around the world.
How does that make you feel right now that a lot more people are kind of on to what was going on there?
I'm not going to sit here and gloat about it because she's getting what she deserves. Am I shocked? I'm finally glad that Dawn's family is finally maybe going to get some answers out of this. They've been wondering what happened to their dad for 20 years.
Absolutely.
Am I shocked that Kim Kardashian and Justin Timberlake and NFL players and everybody is tweeting and all jumped in on this? I'm flabbergasted. And what has been done wrong to me by Jeff Lowe and Carol Baskin is one thing, but Danny Wood has been done wrong to me by the U.S. Attorney's Office and the federal agents that they took part in perjury in order to get me in here is the real disturbing part. Because if this can happen to me, how many other innocent people have they tried in their cases? Every one of their cases needs to be reopened and relooked at to see if perjury took case in their case, and more innocent people are in jail because this is a travesty. Most of the reporters, all Sylvia with Channel 9 sat in Portland and could not believe the lying that went on and the covering up of evidence that I had to prove I was innocent. So right now I'm on my knees praying for a miracle that Kim Kardashian or somebody that has a little bit of influence can get to our dear president and show him that this is wrong. They killed my mom for this, and cremated her, but they even told us she was dead in order to get the zoo ground and all of her property and things. If I get out of here, I'm going to be the biggest advocate for animals in cages and people in jail, because what's going on in this jail is criminal.
I'm sure, Joe. I'm sure what you're enduring is unbelievable, and the fact that you've had to endure it where other people have walked away. Do you think that people like Jeff Lowe will ultimately also face the music?
I don't know what kind of deal Jeff Lowe made with the agents. I don't know if the agent Bryant, in the whistleblower report, is accused of having sex with an underage girl in a government vehicle. I don't know if Jeff Lowe has something over on the agents as why they lied so bad or why they did what they did. All I know is Joe stood on the front office of the gift shop at that zoo in Wynnewood, Oklahoma, and watched Jeff Lowe blackmail an
animal world somehow, and it seems that all these people tend to skirt a lot of these major wildlife violations, whereas you were indicted on what wildlife charges?
Okay, let's first talk about the wildlife, right?
Sure.
Adam Ash, the director of the Federal Fish and Wildlife, put generic tigers on the endangered species list to stop us from owning them, not to protect them, to stop us from owning them. And in the lawsuit that I filed last week against the U.S. Fish and Wildlife and against the U.S. Department of Interior and against the U.S. Attorney and against Agent Bryant, against Jeff Lowe and James Garrison and Alan Glover for $94 million, it pretty much explains how they put the generic tiger on the endangered species list so Adam Ash could become president and CEO of the AZA to put all of us out of business. This has nothing to do with protecting nothing. Okay, this is about money, control, and prestige. And it's got to be stopped. The government has got to, the Trump administration has got to become aware that their own government employees are using their positions to benefit nonprofit organizations. You'll see an article Carol will put out, or Pat Craig will put out, or someone will put out one month, there's too many tigers in America. Well, 2 weeks ago, they shipped in 20-some-odd more from Guatemala. So are they endangered? Do we have too many? Are they much, or are they, Pacific breeds? And I got convicted of health papers that my veterinarian testified she's the one that screwed them up.
So you definitely think that, why are you being made into a poster child for all of this then?
I think it's because Joe created ligers and teligers and crossbreeds and was doing all of this research, and people were visiting, and I built one of the largest and the most prettiest privately owned zoos in the country. And Carol had a 20-year. He couldn't do it as long as Joe was out there breeding tigers. I'm not perfect. I've done some things wrong. And in my past, I've been on your show several times doing a roast, and cutting up and having fun. But that's just as far as it ever went. When Travis shot and killed himself in a gift shop, a part of me died. And it was that day. was that day I picked up the phone and I called Brittany with PETA and asked for her help to get me out of that zoo because I couldn't consume any more of my life. I buried 2 husbands at that zoo. And all I wanted to do was walk away, put my animals in safe places and walk away. And they couldn't let me do that.
That's tough, Joe. I'm sorry. It's heartbreaking, I'm sure, to suffer those kinds of losses, especially one right after the other like that.
You know, when you see your husband laying in your own gift shop with bullet holes in his head, it's just something you never get over. And I feel like I cheated him out of 4 years of his life being locked in that cage 24/7. And I sat down with Brittany Pete. Me and Brittany Pete fought for 20 years, Danny. And she was the only one that would help me move my animals to safe places to get them away from Jeff Lowe so I could leave that zoo. And I left. I did. I left. And they had to come all the way to Florida to get me.
It's just, I can't even, I don't have anything to say. That's just heartbreaking, Joe. That's, to endure that is ridiculous and have this time taken away from you. I hope that, you know, your appeal process brings you some kind of traction and that you can somehow try to regain some bit of your life here. But I just wanted you to know that the audiences overwhelmingly are in your favor right now. A lot of the people in our chat room are saying, you know, free Joe, and they are definitely in your court after seeing everything that you've endured and everything gone through. You are definitely not alone. These people are here watching along the way, and you know, we'll see how that continues to go for you.
Well, people have set up websites called Free the Tiger King with a petition to President Trump. So please join the fight. Get me the hell out of here because I don't belong here.
All right, Joe.
And I would like to just get out long enough to save my dad and save my marriage.
What's going on with your dad?
My niece that teamed up with Jeff Lowe dumped him in a nursing home and has never let any of the other family visit him or anything. He doesn't even know where he is. He doesn't know my mom is dead. Nothing. And all she done was took his VA money.
My goodness, it's just tragedy in every direction for you.
It is. My mom died September the 24th, and I took care of my parents every day, and my mom was not in bad health. I swear to God, after they got her alone and put my dad in the nursing home, they overdosed her because their name is on all the property, all the mineral rights, all the land in Kansas, everything. They took everything from her.
Do you think they killed your mom?
They had her cremated before they even told her own kids.
Wow. That's kind of crazy. I mean, you think they actually killed your mom for her belongings?
This call will be terminated in 2 minutes.
I've seen Jeff Lowe at work. It would not surprise me if him and Chelsea teamed up and overdosed her.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. My brothers and sisters feel the same way because my mom wasn't on her deathbed.
Wow, that's some heavy stuff to digest, Joe. We're gonna lose you in a couple of minutes, and so why don't we do this? I'm gonna try to get this whole situation with our video connection fixed, and then once I get that video connection, maybe you can come back and tell us a little bit more about what's going on with that.
Okay. The jail took the video thing away from me today.
Oh, they did? So you don't have that anymore?
Yep. And then they have a way of taking your freedom of speech away in here, everything. I have not seen a visitor. I've not seen me outside in a year and a half. I've not seen my husband in a year and a half.
When was the last time you had a visitor?
The day that I left my house and got
This call will be terminated in 1 minute.
They don't allow visitors here.
Do you have any idea when you're going to be out of there and in a more permanent situation?
The judge put in to move me to Fort Worth, Texas, to the medical facility there, or to Pensacola to the camp there. Nobody will tell you what, when, or where you're going until you leave in the middle of the night. So I could be here I could leave tonight, or I could be here another 6 months. Who knows?
Jesus, Joe, that's crazy. Mentally, that's got to be just horrible. Listen, hang in there. You got a lot of support. Everyone is shouting down that they love you and hugs to you, and they want to support you. So we'll point them in the right direction, and then we'll try to catch up with you again and see if we can get a little more info.
Tell everybody I said thanks for the support, and I love them all.
All right, Joe. Thank you. Well, there you have it. A very emotional Joe Exotic from jail. Sorry we had to keep it short because he's limited to about 15 minutes. It's a crazy thing. Unfortunately, it's been a real double-edged sword to speak with Joe and try to get his info out there, because from what I've seen, yeah, definitely there's a little bit of retaliation. And so today, as I was telling you earlier, I thought it was a glitch on my end. Apparently, Joe just confirmed that he had his video privileges taken away from him. So he does not have video privileges anymore, and he cannot really communicate well. If you hear the phone, it's really crappy, and they charge you for a 15-minute session, and it's really, really terrible stuff. So that's kind of what Joe's facing right now. As you watch the TV program, as you watch the show, just know that that's like the tip of the iceberg, man. It really is with this guy, this poor guy. I'm saying poor guy because of what he's enduring here, and whether or not it's justified, that's not for me to say. I know some of you feel that it is. A lot of you don't like Joe, and a lot of you have shown your clear disdain for Joe, and that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion, right? That's what it's about. So, but either way, from what I've seen, what I've observed personally, the inhumane treatment is it's staggering, man. It shows you how they're basically taking these people as prisoners and just churning them out as a product, So it's basically a scam to take their money and have people send them money. So it's disheartening that it's been such a huge fall. Like if you watched the show, when I first met Joe, and when Joe was in his heyday, he was the king, right? He was the Tiger King. He was sitting on his throne, and man, what a long way to fall! What a crazy long way to fall! And unfortunately, that is what we've witnessed. He's fallen down a long way, and he keeps trying to climb up. So you gotta give him credit. I know from speaking to him, he put together an appeal, and he's going to be trying to sue everyone from the government to like Jeff Lowe, to a few other people. But more power to you, man. Just do what you gotta do. And but anyway, that's the curious tale of Joe Exotic for today. I just wanted to give you an update with him, and unfortunately, most of my phone calls with him are not unlike that one. They're very sad and depressing, and it makes you really kind of appreciate the things you have. So, like even today, in this situation of weirdness and madness, where we have self-containment going on and quarantines and state lockdowns and all that good stuff. I know it's a really shitty period right now, but just remember, it can definitely always be worse. You could be incarcerated in bumblefuck Oklahoma with no hopes of getting out, or not even knowing when you're going to get out. So, yeah, that's what I got for you guys. Hold your loved ones close, and thank you guys for watching. I'll put this video up, and I'll try to get you guys better quality. I'm sorry. I know that that this was kind of really crappy. The quality of what's going on right now, but I'm not in an office situation yet, unfortunately, and I couldn't go anywhere. So anyway, all right, cool. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night. Stay safe. Cover yourselves up. Like, don't go outside. Don't be in contact with people. Video chat, sex video, whatever you do. Just don't be in contact with each other. Bye, guys. Good night.